The hire is historic, but once Eddie Garcia gets to Dallas, it will be all business as he has to tackle a rising crime issue.
It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what language you speak. Anything is possible.
Wednesday, Dallas City Manager T.C. Broadnax named Eddie Garcia as Dallas's first Latino police chief. Garcia was born in Puerto Rico, but lived most of his life in San Jose, California. And he served nearly 30 years with the San Jose Police Department, 4 of those years as chief.
I never thought in my 28 years as a law enforcement officer here in Dallas that we would have our first Latino chief.
The first woman to lead the Dallas Police Department, Chief Renee Hall, announced her resignation earlier this year. Hired in 2017, Hall came to Dallas from Detroit. Her tenure in Dallas was rocky, beginning with the Botham Jean shooting and ending with criticism over her handling of protests and the rising violent crime rate in Dallas. Multiple police associations were critical of her leadership, and before her resignation, Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson criticized Hall for not having a concrete plan to reduce violent crime. Councilmember Jennifer Staubach Gates is the chair of the Public Safety Committee.
The public is really worried about our current crime rates, and they should be. We are taking it seriously at the City of Dallas, and with this hire, I think the experience that Chief Garcia is going to bring to the job is going to be beneficial for our residents.
Sergeant George Aranda is the president of the Dallas chapter for the National Latino Law Enforcement Organization.
Dallas currently has more than 230 homicides. That's up from 209 last year. What has to be done, new chief or not, to get these numbers down?
We need to hire more officers. I mean, that's a must. But we need to come up with new, innovative ways of putting some more officers on the street. We can't be going, putting officers in these hot spots. I mean, that's overplayed and overdone, and that really doesn't tackle the problem.
Before becoming chief, Garcia worked as a homicide investigator, commanded the Community Service Division and Special Investigation Unit. As chief, he made basic Spanish a course in the police academy. Earlier this month, Garcia told our sister station in San Francisco that there were some low points in his time as chief, including mistakes made during this summer's George Floyd protests. The department received hundreds of excessive force complaints, and Chief Garcia had to apologize for his reaction to complaints that one of his officers had openly antagonized protesters. He also said the highlight of his time in leadership were diversifying staff and supporting the LGBTQ community. The public search for a chief came down to 7 finalists. A community survey showed having a track record for reducing crime and being a transparent leader were the top priorities. He beat out 3 internal police applicants, as well as 2 more finalists from DFW. Aranda hoped the hire would be internal, but he says he's ready to work with the new leadership. Wednesday afternoon, Garcia talked about being the top choice for the top job at the Dallas Police Department.
From a philosophical perspective, in these trying times that we're in American law enforcement, we need our leadership that's experienced and, has made mistakes, who's learned from those mistakes, to try to make other departments better. We need to change those tactics. We need to tweak the tactics, but the goals will always stay the same. And so I feel that is something that we will definitely take, that I personally will definitely take to Dallas on some of the issues that we face and some things that we can do better in.